What's happening, guys? Mr. Rouge again, and this time we're talking about two concepts. The first concept is going to go over monomers and polymers. The second concept that we're going to cover is going to go over two chemical reactions: dehydration synthesis and hydrolysis. Okay, so first let's talk about the monomers and polymers. If I show you these four pictures, we have a chain link, or I'm sorry, a link of paper clips. We have a fireplace made up of bricks, a chair made up of Legos, and a ring made up of chain links. What do all four of these pictures have in common? Well, each one is a large structure made up of the same repeating subunits. Okay? So, in science, we use prefixes to explain these. So, the prefix meaning one or single is mono. Okay, mono. The prefix we use explaining many or several would be poly. Okay, so depending upon which one we're referring to, the single or the many bound together, we're going to use these prefixes. Okay, so let's look at this another way. We have mono, mer. This suffix mer, that actually means one unit. I'm sorry, that actually means unit or part. So a monomer would be one unit. If I were to use the analogy of paper clips, that would be one paper clip. The prefix dimer, or di, means two, so that would be 2 units, 2 paper clips. The prefix poly would be many. Mer means unit or building block. That would be many paper clips. Okay? So, go ahead and take note of this slide. Monomers are a single building block. Mono means one. Mer means part or unit or building block. Okay? Polymers, they are large molecules. They're actually huge for being molecules. They're made up of repeating monomers, repeating building blocks. Poly means many. Mer, again, means part. Okay? So if I were to go back to these pictures, polymer, it's monomer. Polymer, it's monomer. This right here, this Lego chair, polymer, it's monomer. This ring is a polymer. This is its monomer. Okay? Okay, make sure you guys put this on pause, take note of this slide. And now let's go over the two chemical reactions that I mentioned. The first one is called dehydration synthesis. And if we look at this little animation, we have two separate monomers. They're going to link together. They're going to bond together. Two separate monomers. When they bond together, water is going to be lost and they're going to be stuck. Okay? So they join together. Water is going to leave the bond site, and now we're left with a polymer. There's the bond site, there's the water. So in dehydration synthesis, monomers link together to make a polymer. Water is lost. Let's take a look at this word. Dehydration, like if you become dehydrated, that means you're going to lose water. Okay? Synthesis means to make or create. Well, what did we just make? We just made a polymer. Okay? So dehydration, to lose water. Synthesis, to make. Take note of this slide as well, please. The next reaction that we're going to talk about is hydrolysis. If we look at this animation, we have our polymer now, and we're going to use water to break the bond site. When we break that polymer, it's going to become two separate monomers, two separate building blocks. We're going to split them. So if we look at this word, hydro, again, hydro is referring to the use of water. Now what about the suffix lysis? Lysis means to break or split apart. So this process of hydrolysis is when water splits a polymer into its building blocks, into its monomers. Okay? Make sure you guys take note of this slide as well. Now let's see what this actually looks like. This is a molecule of glucose. We'll talk about glucose later, but just know that this is a monomer. And if we look at the insides, or the sides of each of these monomers, we notice that there's an OH on all of them. Well, they're all separate. What we're going to do right now is dehydration synthesis. We're going to bond them together, and they're going to lose water in the process. So we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen for every bond site. They're going to leave. They're going to separate. These molecules are going to link by the oxygen. Water is going to be lost, and this whole polymer is now made. Okay, that's dehydration synthesis. Dehydration means to lose water. Synthesis means to make. And we just made a polymer. Next, the exact opposite reaction is hydrolysis. What is that suffix? Lysis. What does that mean again? Lysis means to split or break apart. So we're going to take this polymer and we're going to split it into its monomers. Okay? We're going to do that using water as well. So there's H2O. Those hydrogens and that oxygen are going to split. They're going to join the monomers in the bond sites and split it. Okay? And now we're left with 3 monomers. We no longer have that polymer. Let's do a quick recap. Monomers are single building blocks. Polymers are large molecules made up of those building blocks, those monomers. Okay? Dehydration synthesis is when monomers join together. Water is lost. That's the dehydration part. A polymer is made. That's the synthesis part. Okay? Hydrolysis. Lysis means to split or break apart. The polymer splits. Water is used. That's the hydro. Okay? And we're left with monomers. Okay? So they're exact opposite processes. That is it for today, folks, and I'll catch you all next time. Adios.